A little bird told me that you guys came up with some myths. Now, they might make sense on paper, but are they really true? Is the Mythic Llama real? Does charging your shotgun halfway deal half the damage? And finally, does disguising yourself as a henchman stop the Marauders from attacking? Glad you guys could join me because we need answers, and these are 15 Fortnite myths that all players believe. Subscribe for a free imaginary myth-busting suit, and let's jump to number 15. Number 15, a shark can eat unlimited items. For our first myth, there's a mystery around the sharks in Season 3, specifically the items they carry. You'll notice that sharks do glow when carrying rare items, but the real question is exactly how many items can a single shark store inside of it? A theory claims that sharks can actually eat an unlimited amount of items. Well, we went in-game and tested this theory for you. We spent ages collecting the most amount of items we could find. They totaled to a number of 900 between ammo, builds, and a variety of items. So basically a ridiculous amount. Naturally, we threw all of these to a shark, and here's what we found. It turns out that a shark will indeed eat everything you give it. From our experiments, there's literally no limit to the number of items that you can give a shark because we fed it for an entire game. And killing the shark will make it drop everything too, although it looks pretty wild with that many items. But consider this myth confirmed. Number 14, you can land on a Marauder Meteor. A lot of people like to wonder, well, what happens if you try to land on a Marauder's Meteor? Similar to the blimps in Season 10. It's just one of those things you want to know. Well, can you land on it? We set out to answer this exact question. Naturally, we tried to land on the Meteor as it fell, but unfortunately, every time we touched it, it exploded on impact. And if you land directly on top, you'll put out your glider early and the Meteor will just continue on its journey to the ground. But there are benefits to making it explode on impact. Doing this will make all the Marauders fall straight out of the Meteor and to their deaths. As a result, you can glide down and pick up some pretty great starter loot. This can end up being a really huge advantage in game modes like Arena or Tournaments, and you might even get lucky with a spare RPG or stink grenades. As for the myth, of course, you cannot land on one as it falls. Therefore, this myth is busted. Number 13, peppers make launch pads faster? A rumor has been going around that eating a pepper not only causes you to walk and run faster, but actually launch quicker from a crash pad or launch pad. Of course, we had to test this for ourselves. The theory makes sense, though eating a pepper makes you swim faster, walk faster, build faster, so why wouldn't it make you launch faster? Well, unfortunately, after eating peppers and testing launch pads and crash pads, it does not seem to increase your flying, gliding, or launching speed. I was secretly hoping this would be true, as it would definitely be a great strat, but I'm sorry to say that this myth is indeed busted. Number 12, you can rocket ride a flare. Okay, ever since Epic Games added the rocket launcher into Fortnite, rocket riding has been a popular and fun tactic, but it made people wonder, and since then, you've been able to rocket ride literally any throwable item in existence, from grenades to C4 to literally even mini shields. You can just about ride any of them. So for this next myth, can you rocket ride a flare gun bullet? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. So we tried, and tried, and tried, and tried, thinking it was possible. Luckily, we didn't give up and decided to check if maybe a trick shotter had hit a shot with a flare this season. Sure enough, there have been a few successful flare rides, and we can confirm that yes, you can indeed rocket ride a flare, although it's extremely difficult. Needless to say that this myth is confirmed. Number 11, disguising as a henchman stops Marauders attacking you. Some secret tactics in Season 3 allow you to avoid Marauders by simply hiding in a bush or jumping in a haystack. And there's another tactic out there which we had to try. The legend goes that you can just disguise yourself as a henchman through a phone booth and it will stop Marauders attacking you completely. So naturally, we hopped in a game, put on a henchman disguise, found some Marauders, and as per usual, they went full attack mode on us. Yep, Marauders are a huge pain this season, so we were secretly hoping this myth would be true, because seriously, those guys just pull up, they don't even care. They just show up. You could be mid-fight, it's just like a whole team. But hey, you can still always hop in a bush or haystack at least. Nevertheless, this myth is absolutely busted. Number 10, Kit's emote works in brutes. Kit's emote has become pretty infamous this season. It's grown into a huge meme of its own, mostly because of the glitch that lets you use the emote on any skin. And while we have tried this on every single skin, there is the question, does this emote work in brutes? You know the mechs from Season 10? These mechs are currently the only vehicle in Fortnite that lets you perform emotes while driving them. So we went and tested it. You can see the results for yourself. Yep, the Kit emote does indeed work with the mechs. Not only does it work like a charm, but it also distorts the audio. Sure, it looks weird, but it still works. So for that, consider this myth confirmed. Number 9. You cannot stop a shakedown no matter what. Shaking someone down has been an incredible feature since it was first added. Being able to see all enemies and loot around you really makes the henchman in the game worth it. It also gives you a reason not to thirst a down enemy on sight. But you might be wondering what happens when someone interrupts you shaking down someone. Well, this theory says that can't even happen at all. According to this myth, once you begin a shakedown, it cannot be interrupted unless you get eliminated. So we went in game, and it definitely seems to be true. We tried so many ways to get the shakedown to stop, but it just wouldn't budge. We threw a crash pad to try and stop it, but it just launched them and made the shakedown happen while in the air. We also tried using a grappler, but it just pulled you while you did the shakedown instead of interrupting it. It's kind of funny, but it proves that once someone begins shaking you down, nothing is gonna stop them. So this myth is without a doubt confirmed. Number 8. You can combine chug splashes with bandages. Since the dawn of time, players have been trying to find clever ways to share heals with each other. Whether it just be splitting the heals, sharing a slurp barrel, or anything else, players just want to save on heals whenever they can. So what happens if you try to throw a chug splash at someone while they're popping a bandage to get to 75 HP? Well, this myth claims that it'll let you heal past 75 HP with the right timing. But if you actually manage to heal someone with a chug splash past the 75 HP mark just before they finish bandaging up, it'll actually just complete the bandage animation. Yeah, unfortunately, your health will not go up, so no, you cannot combine chug splashes with bandages. Like many others on this list, this myth has unfortunately been busted. Number 7. Disguises stop the flare gun's radar. Like the myth from earlier, this theory claims that you can actually disguise as a henchman, but instead of hiding from marauders, this one supposes that it will allow you to hide from a flare gun. Shooting a flare gun into the sky will reveal the location of everyone in the area, so naturally, you'd want to avoid this. We jumped into a match, suited up as a henchman, and then shot a flare gun in the area. It turns out that after a few tests, it'll still mark you as the same as it would without the disguise equipped. So to conclude, this myth, like the Marauder one, remains just that, a myth. Consider it busted. But get ready because here come the big questions. Number 6. You can shockwave people out of hiding spots. With the new Mythic Shockwave launcher, there are a ton of new plays available at your disposal. Unfortunately, the community has a love-hate relationship with this thing. Although, considering just how many people try to get their hands on the gun anyway, this next theory is something you'll all be interested in. It assumes that the Shockwave launcher, when fired at a dumpster, porta potty, or haystack, will launch the enemy hiding inside of it straight out and expose them. Currently, there's barely any way to tell when someone is hiding, so this theory would be pretty neat. We tried it in a match, but while this could be a great hidden way to find players, it unfortunately failed on all 3 tests. To put it simply, no, it doesn't launch people out of their spots. As such, this myth is quite frankly busted. Number 5. Shockwave onto a launch pad makes you go higher. Speaking of the Shockwave launcher, there's another myth out there which suggests you can make a little wombo combo out of the Shockwave launcher and launch pads. If you remember in Chapter 1, you could combine a bouncer pad and launch pad to make some kind of super launch pad, which sent you flying way higher and further than usual. It was really popular amongst the pros. So what if you took that same launch effect from Kit's Shockwave launcher and shot yourself onto a launch pad? Well, we tested this theory, and here's the results we got. To summarize, after multiple attempts at this, we learned that Kit's launcher does indeed give your character the same effect as a bouncer, although it does not combo with the launch pad to send you higher. Therefore, this myth is sadly busted. Number 4. Decoys will throw off a flare gun. while disguising yourself as a henchman does not hide you from the UAV of a flare gun burst. There are other ways to throw off a flare gun, it would seem. If you see someone fire a flare into the sky, this theory assumes that you can actually throw some decoy nades down to help. Supposedly, throwing a bunch of decoys down after someone uses the flare gun will actually confuse the enemy. As such, we went in game to try it out, and it turns out that the flare gun does indeed pick up and scan all the decoys you throw down. So this actually seems like an amazing tactic to throw off anyone with a flare. Make sure you keep this in mind the next time you want to use a decoy grenade for good. Thankfully, this myth has been confirmed. But get ready because here come the good ones. Number 3, you can break reboot vans with upgrade benches. You might remember a trick with the throwable upgrade benches when they first came out that would allow you to throw a bench in the vault entrance and trap players inside for the rest of the game. It was great, with people like Cypher PK doing it and grenading the entire vault. While this glitch was hilarious, Epic quickly patched it, but that very act got the community thinking. So if you could trap players in doorways and vaults with an upgrade bench, what if you could possibly trap someone on a reboot van? The myth says that you can simply throw a bench down to stop a rebooted player from coming back from the dead. So we tried this one for ourselves, and it seems as though you can actually do this. The top center of the reboot van, when blocked by an upgrade bench, will trap the rebooted player inside of it and allow you to pick up an easy elimination for your team. Now, I've got to say, this is a tactic that will likely be patched in the future, so definitely take advantage of it while you can. For now, however, this myth is confirmed. Number 2, the charge on the charged shotgun doesn't matter. The charged shotgun's most notable feature is, of course, the charge, but the actual impact of how long you charge it for is a bit of a mystery. If you've ever wondered what each level of charge does, we've gone and investigated it for you. There's a myth that claims that the charge on the shotgun doesn't matter. There's 2 modes of damage, uncharged and charged, and the longer you hold it doesn't change the damage. If you thought what I just said, that is completely wrong. The way it works is actually simple. The longer you charge the shotgun, the more damage you do. Seems a bit obvious, I know, but the specifics are kind of up in the air. I'll explain. We ended up doing multiple tests from different distances at all different charge levels, and I can confidently say that the charged shotgun will always do different amounts of damage depending on charge and distance. So the idea that the charge on the shotty doesn't matter is, of course, a myth. So make sure you always try to charge your shotgun as much as possible because it seems that every bit of charge counts. This myth is officially busted. And your number 1 spot, the Mythic Llama. And now we have our most popular myth of Season 3, something that has been gaining tons of traction within the community and on social media, is the rumored existence of an item labeled the Mythic Llama. And it seems that no one is actually sure if this thing is real or not. In Fortnite, we have extremely rare golden mushrooms and a mythic goldfish, so there's a high chance a Mythic Llama could be real too, right? Well, maybe not. So we, like every other myth on this list, investigated it for you so that you could sit in your couch. After dozens and dozens of times dropping into the map and doing our own testing with our good pal Fred, we can confirm to you right now that the Mythic Llama is just that, a myth. So consider this one absolutely busted. This has been 15 Fortnite myths. If you enjoyed the video, you're gonna enjoy this video just as much. So go ahead, click the annotation. It's right there. Oh my God, I have to click it.